A phene is a basic orb of sensory information, an ethereal orb or marble of a sense: sight, sound, touch, scent, taste. And there are more than those 5 senses. Phenes are internally created or externally impressed into the self. In either case, they can be encoded or through alchemy applied to mean, represent, or enhance anything. Think of the phene as a world or a marble of unlimited sensory data. This is what dreams and the imagination are from, what powers or fuels them. They are kind of like the raw element of experience in the form of a world or a marble. People today outsource their imagination and dreams. It is no longer from within. It's in smartphones and books, movies and music, neon signs and fluorescent lights, artificial flavors and manufactured experiences, substances and psychedelics, subliminal messages, measurements, and mathematics. It saves us energy to not have to think, to not have to imagine, to have dreamless nights. Saves us the energy so we can spend more time worrying about where the next outsource interaction is with a handicapped sensory tool. Our senses diminish. In some cases this is natural, and the energy saved is important so as to focus it somewhere else. But this is actually false. The reality is that energy is produced when the Phenic system is used. The imagination is a fuel source for the entire body. It is not draining to use the senses. Your body makes the cells and mitochondria to supply energy for the inner world of the self, but only if it's used in that way. If not, it atrophies and your dreams get cloudier and more distant. You can't see things in your mind's eye, or smell, or hear. They fade over time unused. We reduce our sense of navigation by using GPS because the roads are high speed, the turns are quick, the paths are numerous, and time is running out. Or so it seems. Outsourcing the sense of navigation makes people slow and unaware of their surroundings. Our sense of balance is reduced with shoes that prevent us from feeling the ground with our own skin, the subtle tremors and vibrations. The sense of taste is outsourced into artificial flavors, food that is swollen and perverted to only provide taste and nothing else, no kind of information. The taste no longer is chewed through, sat with, marinated, or engaged in any way while eating. The food is chewed once, then swallowed. The entirety of the flavor is gone the moment it touches the tongue, since the depth of flavor is a hollowed out shell. The sense of smell is reduced as the environment is stale, breathing in recycled air full of foul-smelling toxins and chemicals. People lose their sense of smell because they don't smell things. Really smell them, focus on them, imagine the journey the smell can take you. Touch has become squeamish. The littlest sensations are painful or ticklish. People spend no time feeling in their body, only escaping into the outsourced imagination and dissociating. It comes as a shock when physical sensations occur, as it breaks them from their reverie. There are in total an endless amount of senses, as experience can be divided and thought of in any way. A foreign concept to those who have not practiced the imagination. Every cell in the body has sensory experiences. It is receiving information from outside, or able to produce information from within. Therefore, it also has emotion. Now, when we talk of sensory organs, these are cells who have specialized to provide sensory information in affluent ways. In other words, they have direct access to processing and interpreting of that information into the forefront of consciousness. There are billions of instances of activity ongoing every day. Most will remain subconscious, beneath awareness. That is, unless you go subterranean into the world of dreams. Instinct and intuition are a combination of various phenes coming from different areas of the body, signs and senses picked up subconsciously. Remember that such information can be interpreted and processed in any amount of ways. because one sense can be experienced as any other, with any number of combinations, just like blending colors of paint. Sound waves can be felt as a sense of sight, of hearing, smell, balance, emotion, pain, danger, navigation, temperature, time. Entire stories can be imagined from a single sense as it combines and mixes with multiple other. Music that transports you, a meal that brings you back to childhood, a smell that sends you to a faraway land. All of these complete with multi-sensory immersions. And these all come from inner experiences, the Phenic system, the ability to generate, mix, and project the imagination, dreams. This is the orrery of the senses. In order to have dreams, one must spend time with the basic phenes, that is, sensory experiences that aren't already full of information. When looking at a movie, a phone, or a book, the information in the light is full. It contains the message in the light rays. When the flavor of food is set, pre-made and industrialized, the information is already there without needing to taste it. You know what it will taste like before even trying it. Music is full of lyrics and rhythm already written. We smell the same scents so consistently that they are no longer perceived. It's the background air, and the sense of smell doesn't explore or encode new memories. Time skips without smell. To build the Phenic system, and therefore the imagination, to derive unspoken information and normal sensory experience by mixing the phene with other inner sources, the worlds that orbit you. Staring at a wall or ceiling, listening to seashells or the ocean, you could do classical music, or the wind and insects, making your own food, touching objects between your fingers, watching a bug crawl on you, laying in the sun, or in a body of water, or on the grass. The point is sensory information that is largely lacking information, a monochromatic experience, a blank slate which you can use to fill your imagination, to daydream with, to project the senses on, to create a temporary imaginary world, or else to receive these white noises or white lights or new smells, unassociated senses, and associate them, those base phenes, to any kind of augmentation in whatever mental or sensory process you want. People are interested in lucid dreams. I find them to be mainly redundant, since a daydream is the same as a lucid dream. You can create and experience any world you want. But using the Phenic system during the day will power it up for the night during dreams. Dreams come from the Phenic system. The body has to get good at creating sensations, at generating experiences. That's what the Phenic system does. The more you improve that system, the more you practice, the more you're immersed in different worlds, the more vivid and fantastical, useful and elucidating the dreams can be, and the more you can remember them. Spend less time consuming content, the outsourcing of the imagination, and spend more time generating your own, mixing them, combining senses and the stories they tell. You can write the information into the sensory experience, encoding the signals or vibrations with your own meaning, and then allow it to run through the body and organs and blood and bones. Every part of the body can feel, communicate, receive, and generate sensory experience. Many of the great artists, inventors, musicians, thinkers, they will often say that their ideas are not their own, that they were mediums for some kind of principle or force. They were talented channelers, and ones who often needed altered conscious experiences to reach into that creative muse. While it is true that creation is often a translation and interpretation from experiences and inner worlds, most people are not great by themselves. Most people require that altered conscious inspiration, a drug, a disease, a disability, or a source of pain or tragedy. Eventually, those things will consume you if they are never dealt with, if they are never separated from or healed. People grow attached to that as their muse. They never ended up developing their own world. really just leeching off of another source, not cultivating their Phenic system. Of course, there are many examples of people who did, who were truly some of the greats in their field. People whose inner worlds could stand on their own and even outlive them. Of course, in waking consciousness, it is important to seek new experiences. That's what waking consciousness is for. To be on the frontier, to look for erudition in anything. But it requires a Phenic mixing, a collision, and merging with the experience, whatever form it takes. It has to be brought inward, formed into a marble, or combined with one. The size and impact of the worlds grow with how much they are used, just as the senses get sharper and more vivid with increased practice, application, and skill. More than that, the reason I refer to it as an orrery is because the worlds of these different senses and how to develop, cultivate, and mix them change the world. It orbits, goes through cycles, extends from the body, eclipses other worlds, and resonates to other sensory experiences, even those outside the body, especially those outside the body. While dreaming outer worlds from another person, a thing, a planet, or star, or just something passing through, those worlds can align and orbit your own. The world of sound might one day touch the world of a bird singing, and you find yourself in harmonic balance with that song, transported in the world of the bird song, experiencing from the perspective of the bird song. It takes you on a journey. And maybe these worlds collide with other people, with pure sensory information, a vibration, a light source, or a thought form. And sometimes all the senses align, and the whole body synchronizes, and new territory is discovered, new worlds are created. In other words, a new sense is formed. You might also have experienced someone in a room thinking loudly and it preventing you from having the freedom of thought. So much of the mental space was preoccupied. The phene of their thought, the world of their thought, was too large, taking up too much space. Or when walking by someone, or even an object, briefly your outer space brushes against their outer space. You get a sense of them, a feel of them, and they of you, even if no words are exchanged. And this depends on the orbit of the particular marble. You might sense someone's aggression, fear, anxiety, joy, intent, mood, and so on. Similar is making eye contact and exchanging a mutual understanding. That is another example of the orrery of a world colliding with another. So torment the senses, breaking them down and rebuilding them. It's alchemy, transmuting one sense into another, creating and destroying energy, mixing them and encoding them, moving, receiving, and sending them around in orbit. Any kind of information can be put into any kind of field, wave, particle, vibration, rhythm, or medium. All phenes are the essence, orbs, forms of data which is shared, exchanged, traded as a sense. They can hold memories and be stored in cells all over the body, placing entire sensory experiences, narratives, and plots, secret messages, past events, locations, ideas, intentions, emotions through the Phenic system. They can be added to any activity you do, anything you create, say, touch, interact with. And the same goes for receiving all of that. And the same goes for dreaming. Deprive yourself of one sense while using other senses. The most common is with vision, as it is also the one we tend to rely on the most. Spend more time doing activities with eyes closed. Learn to feel and imagine your way through. When we stay up all night seeing a range of bright colors on computers and TVs, we exhaust the energy of seeing. There is supposed to be downtime where the color cones in the eye need to relax. Those become overstimulated and nearsighted. And by night, we have burnt out the mitochondria, and so the dreams are weak, not vivid, and forgettable. The inner cinema was outsourced all night to the TV. Go play air piano in the park, Draw on the night sky with your finger. Let your emotions swim in the currents of the lake. Watch the warm glow of a fire pit. Throw a ball in the air while lying in bed. When in doubt, go to the worlds inside. And the worlds of the orrery are infinite. They can be explored or taken to any depth or height. Finally, just as with marbles, they can be traded. Thanks for watching.